We'll make sure this is all rolling the way it ought to. We'll see how bad the stream is. The stream varies depending on what day it is and how many humans we have around doing all these things. Fantastic. We got it. It is live. Guess what, guys? We are going to be going over custom price calculator and helping out anybody who needs help here on Black Friday. It has been a fairly substantial Black Friday, but I got my popcorn. I'm happy. We got everything done that we need to get done. We're going to see how it goes. But one thing I did want to say is, number one, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving so much. Let me know what you're thankful for down there in the comments. I am thankful. You know, I was thinking about it actually over the week, guys. And like, it's amazing to be alive right now. I had somebody around me who was being really, really negative the other day. I was just like, it is not negative. Stop being so darn negative. We are in the best time in human history, bar none. 50 years ago, you could get a thing called polio or malaria. 100 years ago, your grandparents were being transported with animals. 150 years before that, more people died in the American Civil War than the number of more Americans died in the American Civil War than died in World War II and World War I combined. And then 200 years before that, it took 3 months to cross an ocean that we fly over now in 12 hours. 100 years before that, you didn't get the option of meeting anyone outside of your town. Everything is better now. 10 years ago, our phones did not talk to us and did not know what was good, bad, or indifferent. I am so thankful to be around right now. 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, more kids were dying than are dying currently, being born, than dying in any reason given today. 5 years ago, we were in a pandemic where the worst thing that happened was we were stuck inside for a year and had to watch Netflix, but still go to work and still live our lives, and food was still delivered. That's bananas that that's possible. And 2 years ago, computers became intelligent, like legitimately. This is an awesome time to be alive. So let me know what else you think is awesome right now, because it's awesome right now. And if anybody down in the comments starts bringing it down by like, actually, I will ban you from this stream because I just don't need it right now, and neither does anybody else. It is a fantastic time to be alive. And that is objectively true. Global warming. You want to talk about global warming? Global warming, there is more solar and wind power being installed now than any time in history, and in about 5, and it's currently exceeding coal. There's more solar than coal. We're winning. If we stay on this trajectory just automatically, in 25 years, pretty much green energy will be renewable energy will be the main way of producing stuff. And you have nuclear reactors being built by the richest companies in the world to power AI. But when AI has its moment and then falls off, those reactors are going to be useful for everybody else. So it's great to be alive right now. So let me know what else is awesome right now, because everything is awesome right now. I am streaming right now. I am talking to people across the planet in this moment. And this is awesome. It's just awesome. Let me do that refocus again. Let me do that refocus again, because that seems a little bit off. Okay. But here's the thing, and this is my little gift to you guys. Anybody who's watching, 3D print price calculator.com. This is our little gift to you. We made a small little app. We know that a lot of people don't use our services. That's fine. A lot of people run their own print farms. So we went ahead and started creating some tools for y'all to help run your print farms. This is the first of them. It is 3dprintpricecalculator.com. It is a price calculator that actually is useful. Tons of people have made this. And if you Google 3D print price calculator, you get a ton of things. All of them do material and print time and maybe electricity, which is wrong and not how you estimate price. Ours has rent, printer depreciation. We need to add in sales tax and payment processing fees. Those will be coming in fairly soon. But we are adding in all kinds of other things in order to help people appropriately price their products. Now, everybody will be down. There's a few ways of doing it. If you're doing it on a cost basis, our calculator by far is the best. Anybody can use it. Go crazy. We're paying the bills. I think it's really useful for everybody because, like, our whole mandate is to make people print more stuff and have more products made with 3D printing. So it's just a good thing to have. Hey, people are showing up. What's up, guys? Netventive? Let me see here. Let me get this popped up here so I can see everybody's thing. I didn't realize I was this old, but okay. I'm planning on setting up teleport next week when I get home, making lamp sets. Oh, sick. Yeah, the lamps with the third-party parts in teleport are really good. Let us know if you need any fixtures or any additional things added into it, and we'll get those added in. We'd love to have more lamps going through teleport because lamps are an awesome category to be in right now. They're doing really well on social. All kinds of other stuff is doing well. Ron Friedman. Yes, negative people can suck. Yes, exactly. This is the golden age of humanity. Well said, Ron. Okay, Yay Interacts. Speaking of great things, wouldn't a 2L Dr. Pepper make the popcorn even better? I concur. It would. But since we live in such a third world country, I have time to go down to the store and get myself more Dr. Pepper. So I'm just with a popcorn. Just with a popcorn. You guys can, I'll raise a fit glass of Dr. Pepper to all the rest of you there. What do you guys want to talk about? It is Black Friday. Shipped out a whole bunch of parts. For anybody who is currently on teleport and portals and the API and that kind of stuff, we are keeping up with stuff. Had the spike in demand coming up here, but orders are still shipping out in under 2 days right now. Processing time is still officially 2 to 5 days because some people will order 50 parts or a part that can't be printed or something, and we have to work at it for a while. But in general, the vast majority, 85 to 90% of parts, are shipping out in under 2 days. So we're keeping up with stuff, and we'll continue to hold this throughout Christmas to make sure that everybody's taken care of. If you need any overflow, if you're getting overwhelmed at Black Friday, I recommend teleport. Bill Okasawa 9798. What's up, man? All right. But yeah, for anybody who just got here, up at the top, 3D print price calculator. I put it in the comments. Try it out. See if it's useful to you. You can either just input your own information, like I got a part that's 5 grams in 2 hours or whatever else it was, or you can upload a file. The upload is still a little bit finicky because some of the numbers thrown back. We did some tuning on it to try to make it more generic and make sure it's overestimating so that people are more profitable rather than less profitable. But it can still use some tweaking, but it's there. Yeah, but the price calculator, we're going to start building out a bunch of these. So we have a price calculator lined up. It does shipping estimation. So you can put in origin zip code and destination zip code, and it will instantly estimate the price for various ways of shipping stuff. Very useful there. And one of the best, guys, I have looked for shipping calculators for years, and they have always been garbage. They have always been, put in a full address, put in a full address. And I'm like, I don't want a full address. I want to know if going from this city to this city is the same price. But we finally got that built so people can get a hold of it. Oh, the podcast this weekend, if you didn't watch the live stream earlier this week, I was talking to Gyroline, and Gyroline has made a tire alignment gadget, and I got to talk to Sam over there. And it was a fun conversation. We got to talk about all kinds of stuff, both starting up the business and the rest of it. So I recommend seeing the podcast this weekend. And if you haven't already watched the video today, we did a compilation of a bunch of made for real printed products videos. So that was there. Tarzan Fine, talk about printers. What do you want to talk about printers on? Printers, they're out there printing. We got hundreds of them. I don't know. Printers right now, printers are just good. Printers are good. You know, they're doing fine. They're doing all right. You know, printers, I think there might be something there. Drawn to Digital, nice calculator. I was running into some small bugs using it on mobile, but overall pretty good. Let me know what the small bugs were on mobile. Mobile's always such a monster because everybody has different size screens, so it always kind of breaks, but let me know what like bounced out. We pushed a few things. Is it like editing some of the form fields? That might be what it is. That's generally what comes up. Some touchable areas end up getting moved around or bumped or something. Bill, I like your calculator. I'm going to use it to just get started 3D printing projects for side job as being employed as a full-time. Yeah, that sounds good. That's a good idea. Or, Bill, don't tell anybody, but there's this app called Teleport. I'm not sure about it. I don't know if it'll come up, but this app called Teleport lets you print and ship items without having to own a printer. Just when you get an order, it's printed and shipped. That way you, Bill, get to focus on designing your own products and just prototyping and having fun. And then if something pops off, you got 1,000 printers in the back ready to help you out if you plug in Teleport. Just saying. Might be something there. Compilation video was good. The fidget one was a surprise. Who we put in the fidget one? I don't think we had a fidget one in this one, did we? I think it was just the fidget one. What did we? I thought we had the spool inside of there. I didn't think we had any like consumer ones. It was kind of a functionalist one, wasn't it? I gotta double check now. Slant3D. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? This is fascinating stuff. Checking out my own videos. Oh, stupid cyber. Of your farm in regards to slowing down the economy, and will 3D products see a higher demand in that environment? So, overall, I would say that the demand is effectively flat from this year to last year. I mean, like slow growth. I mean, the economy in general, and most shopping and e-commerce and Christmas has seen about a 5% increase from last year. We've seen more than that, but we see it because we have more users. On a user by user basis, 5% is probably about correct as far as like how is Etsy performing. So how is Shopify performing? So there's growth, but it's not like wild runaway growth because I think we finally kind of hit a spot in the economy where people have maxed out their credit cards and are finally being frugal about it. That being said, every Christmas is always bigger than the last year, always by the size of growth of the economy. And the economy grows 5 to 10% every year inside the US. So you always see that in spending. If you ever look at like the Amazon growth graphs, Amazon always goes up, peaks at Christmas, then comes back down, and then peaks a little higher at the next Christmas, then comes back down and peaks a little bit higher at the next Christmas. And they've always been up and to the right in that direction, where Christmas was a high peak, and then they start leveling out the next year to match it. So there's just this tailwind for everybody. So ultimately, I'd say it's flat with like minimal growth, but it's still growth, and will always be growth. Because even in like a slow year, there's still growth. It's just a slow year is defined by less growth than a fast year, almost always. I don't think, even with COVID, I don't think spending was ever less, has ever gone down year over year in Christmas. Nut with screw. Oh, yeah, the fidget nut. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, the fidget nut. Papa Nelson, DJ Nelson. He made that a couple of years ago, and they have a big old print farm knocking those things out. That video we did a while ago, I mean, they're bigger now. Because we did that video about a year ago, and they are bigger now. Why are you like 14p? I don't know. The streaming is always different depending on how YouTube compresses it and everything else. We're working on changing it and trying to get more internet in. And I will fully admit that the internet connectivity into our building is not amazing, especially for this kind of stuff. Because we found out, we tried upgrading our speed the other day, and short of running a new line of fiber and digging a ditch, they cannot make our internet any faster. We have looked at Starlink, but Starlink doesn't make it significantly faster, and then you still have throttling on it. So it wasn't like a magic solution. And then we could plug in a couple Starlinks. I'm just like, this is starting to become expensive. Is the internet this important? Because we can just all appreciate the fact that we're talking to each other live right now, right? Because it's still pretty cool, even if it is 14p. Well, I'm mainly doing prototypes for my friends. Oh, that's fair. Okay. Mad Cow 6542. Hello. Should I order my Portals prints to see how well they print? If they are pretty simple and print well on my home machine with Portals settings. So here's the thing. I would say generally yes. You got to define simple. If it's a cube, it's simple. If it has any supported areas, it's no longer simple. I do recommend that people order a couple of prints of their parts just to be sure, as a reality check, and also as like a calibration. Part of the reason for this is everybody's like, oh, my print settings match your print settings. And the answer is no, they don't. You probably have different material. You probably have a different slicer. You probably have a different machine. And you probably have the different rotation of the earth or a different humidity or whatever it was. Like there's so many variables that people have printed stuff on my machine and it doesn't come out as you anticipate because it's not the same. The settings being the same layer height and same infill are only 2 of the 250 settings that define how a print looks and comes out. And I am guaranteed that they are not the same between you guys and us. So I recommend always to order a couple of prints so that you kind of get a feel for it. And we're not perfect. Like we ship thousands of parts, and yes, less than 1% of them ever have a problem. But it's good to just make sure you're not one of the 1% and that kind of thing. So I do recommend ordering some test prints because that's just good practice to make sure that we're staying honest. If the prints go bad or something and you get bad prints, we will always refund them, but we will always try to fix them. Because if we ever find out that we sent a bad part out, I immediately go down and talk to everybody. We pull that part and we print it until we get it perfect. And then we update the system to make sure that that never happens again. And we just face down each one of these little whack-a-mole things and make sure they can never come back again. All right. Melting Minis, what's up? Have you ever found a print that you use in your day-to-day? I use, on my desk, I have several organizers and clips. Inside the factory, we have lots of printed parts, of course, for like functional things. For me, in like my day-to-day, like everyday carry, a thing I'm working on are watch bands. Because I want a watch band that's, I don't know, I want to start with just the general band itself, to make it comfortable and look good and everything else, because I don't want it to be toy-y. I've messed around with a few of the flip wallets for like holding cards and that kind of stuff, but they're not quite right. And then, yeah, there's been like a tool packet because I wear cargo pants most of the time. So I want like a tool pack that fits in my side cargo pant that has all the tools that I want in it at any given time. And that'd become a part of my everyday carry. Oh, no! Oh, messed. Wait. Amazon Leo is supposedly 1 gigabit down, 4 megabits up. Look at that. Oh, I didn't know they had that fully active. And it's not overused or anything like that, because I know they only have like 20 satellites up or something. I don't think they've launched a ton. But if they've got it, I'm down for it. Look on the top. The number fields won't let you erase the starting 0. Shipping weight won't let you enter less than 1. Yes, I know that the shipping weight won't let you enter less than... Wait a second. Actually, we had it set to not allow less than 1. And then when I was redoing it, I had made it more variable. So I may not have pushed that update. As far as the edit of the first one, I was kind of expecting some of that to happen. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll get those fixed and we'll push a new update tomorrow. Is it all? I think it's only a couple of fields too, because I saw that maybe on a couple of them. If you put in 0.5 pounds, I believe that works. I'm pretty sure I did that once. In all fairness, 1 pound is like the universal one. So going much lighter won't help much. Mad Cow, Hot Plastic. Hey, what's up, man? Chipping out, Rick and Phoenix. How's it going? All right. What else you guys want to talk about? Yeah, we got 3D print price calculator up there at the top. Give us as much feedback as you can. We just turned it loose. I was like, hey, there's a thing. Send it out there. And it can be, yeah, it should be useful to folks. Just the very fact that it has rent in there, because nobody ever estimates rent. People have no idea how expensive it is to actually make the part, because everybody thinks it's material and electricity, which is not. You have depreciation, you have taxes, you have payment processing fees, you have the rent, you have your own time, you have the profit, you have the time of people who work for you if you're doing that. There's so much more than what people realize. Okay. Bunch of weirdos watching a guy eat popcorn. Wait one more. I'm just going to do this. It'd be like, get those businessmen in Japan to log in or whatever it was, however this works. Did everybody have a good Thanksgiving? Here's a question. How many people do Thanksgiving with a turkey versus a roast? Let's have a vote run down there in the chat. See who goes turkey and who goes roast. If you're anything else, throw that out there because I'm just interested. I'd love to know the alternative feasts that people have. All right. What else is going on? We'll be pushing an update to the API on Monday, Tuesday. We're not moving any stuff right now. Like right with Black Friday, with all the orders and stuff coming in, we're not going to move nothing because we don't want to break nothing for anybody. Kate Stringer, I do turkey. Okay, turkey and ham. Oh, ham. Yeah, ham. Of course, I forgot about ham. Ham is fantastic. Roast turkey. Okay, we're neck and neck right now. We kind of did kind of a sandwich bar. Was it a turkey sandwich bar, or was it a ham sandwich bar, or was it just sandwich accompaniments? Question from Joab. Do you think recycling printer waste can be commercially profitable, or maybe profitable for in-house recycling? So here's the thing. That question is entirely a math problem. You can build a spreadsheet that tells you exactly when it becomes profitable to start recycling plastic, any types of plastic. Here's the thing. I will tell you that printer waste as a whole, as an industry, does not produce enough waste to be significant. Because you have to fill a truck full of plastic waste in order to make it worth it recycling. And then you have to bring in a truckload of that plastic waste every single day in order to keep the machine that does the recycling active. Recycling printer waste is not shoving in shards into a machine. You have to wash them. You have to grind them to a very consistent pelletization. And then you turn those into pellets. You kind of extrude them as rough-hewn thing. And then you take those pellets and extrude them again in order to make filament again. But now it's a bunch of mixed plastic, so now you have to only do black, or you have to bleach it, which is now a chemical process, which isn't that great. Again, it's just a scale thing. And while we do recycle and reuse prints in certain kind of ways, we don't do it as regrind, because during that entire process, if anything goes wrong, you have contaminated your filament. So it is actually more reliable and more affordable to get virgin material than to recycle waste material. I'm not a fan of that. Because here's the thing, like with efficiencies and stuff, everybody's all like, oh, companies are all so greedy. They don't want to recycle stuff. It's like, no, companies would absolutely recycle a waste product and turn it into something useful if they could and it was cost effective. The problem everybody has is that they want companies to do it when it is unprofitable, not cost effective, and will break the company. And it just becomes a drain. So companies don't want to do that. But efficiency and corporate greed are completely aligned. Every company will put in LED bulbs when LED bulbs are cost effective to put in because they don't want to pay as much for electricity, right? And that also decreases emissions. So when it works, but like 3D printing plastic waste is not large enough to be useful. Here's the thing that's interesting though. There is so much plastic in the world right now. And a lot of it is kind of condensed into landfills and other areas to where it's becoming conceivable to have regrind and reuse facilities that collect and store this plastic and then effectively mine it to turn it back into new plastic products. And that works. That can work really, really well to where you start taking the plastics out of the environment and you like mine a landfill, pull all the plastic stuff out and reuse it. And that's going to continue to increase because there's finally enough plastic out there to have industrialization of the recycling of plastic, for better or worse. Stuffing and steeped carrots. We do turkey and ham sandwich bar for brunch, and mashed potatoes and gravy with egg sliders with turkey and ham for dinner. Oh, egg sliders sound good. Is that like deviled egg sliders, or like egg salad sliders, or like literally you make like an egg? When I hear slider, I'm hearing hamburger. Do you make like an egg hamburger that you guys then fry? That sounds good. Does the Black Friday rush last through the weekend, Monday, or drop off quickly? Depends on your platform and how you do it. Generally, you have Black Friday up here at this level. You burn along right here. You get to Black Friday. It tapers off a little bit on Saturday, a little bit on Sunday. You have a bump up on Cyber Monday, which is not as high as Black Friday. And then it tapers off a little bit, stays level, but higher throughout December till about December 15th. We did a whole video of like what to expect from Christmas season over on the Slant Pod channel. I recommend watching that. I just go through like almost day by day of how a Christmas season generally goes. Turkey is great, but a price for roast beef is the next level. That sounds really good. Oh, that sounds really good. I'm totally down for that because I can imagine how juicy that is. But at the same time, I kind of like the crust of just an oven roasted roast. But ooh, yeah, pressure cooking it sounds like a good idea. Beef dippers, okay. What are some critters you have for pricing out a product when scanning and printing apart? I want to start a side hustle and don't know where to begin. Okay, Rara, if you pointer, if you this is serendipitous. Pointers. Sorry, I thought I misread that. I thought you said printers. Pointers. Up at the top of the chat, we put in 3dprintpricecalculator.com. Use that, and that'll give you base ideas of what your costs are, and then you price as high as you possibly can, and that's what you do there. That's how to get started. Deviled eggs, nice. Okay. So unprofitable so far. All it takes is someone to figure out a good way to do it. Oh, no, it's all figured out. Yeah, somebody could invent a new technology, but all the technologies to recycle plastics are there already. You just need enough of it. The problem is that this is really interesting. We worked on a video like 6 months ago, and I was talking about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which people imagine is a big old island down there in the South Pacific, but it's not. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is an area of high plastic concentration, but that high plastic concentration is not a bunch of plastic bottles floating around on the top of the ocean. They are particles greater than 1 millimeter per cubic meter of water, something like that. So a speck of plastic per cubic meter, there are more of those in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Doing the math on how much it costs to pump the water through some giant sieve, which is the same as having a ship go through with a net or pumping the water up through a filter or whatever else it was to collect that plastic. You spend more money on the electricity to collect that plastic than what the plastic is worth if you pressed it back into milk bottles. So it just isn't economically viable. But again, if you go to like a landfill and you just pull out truckloads and truckloads of plastic because it's a high density of stuff and you have a really good way of turning them into park benches, that might be a really good way of doing it. It's just expensive and not very trendy, so it's tough to raise money to build the infrastructure that is large enough. Because for plastic recycling to work, you need a plant or a small factory that takes a truckload, a semi-load of plastic every single day and converts it into something useful. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Have you ever thought about 3D printing a Lego Christmas tree, like a full-size one? We have a large format Elegoo, whatever, orange storm. We've been thinking about doing oversized Lego pieces. I think it'd be fun. AWW1914 question: what do I need to know for taxes selling via portals from Canada? What does Slant3D versus U.S. sellers need to pay for the IRS state taxes? Okay. If you are selling on portals, not teleport, portals. If you're selling on portals, all the taxes are on us. We take care of sales tax, we take care of the IRS, all the things. You are effectively a designer who is providing us a design that we are paying you a royalty for. You get to set your royalty because you're setting the price of the product. But you get a payment from PayPal as a royalty. In the United States, that comes across as a K1 form, which is miscellaneous income, where you're just like, well, I made $2,000 from selling on portals. Okay, well, that's income. That's random income. It's the same as if you sold jams and jellies. You don't have to worry about sales tax or processing or state fees or anything else. That's all on us. So you get paid. And then in Canada, I don't know what the rules are as far as the taxes, but like you get paid a royalty. It is effectively what it is. You are getting paid miscellaneous income as a royalty. You are not selling products. You are not manufacturing products. You are a designer who is licensing your intellectual property to have people print and ship it for you. You just also happen to help with the marketing of it, which is true of anyone. When a person writes a book, they go on a book tour and advertise the book on all the talk shows. I hope I covered that. Yeah, especially if you're in Canada, you don't have to interact with any U.S. policy at all. Upload the file, we'll pay you the money. However, Canada does miscellaneous income, file that. Go to ChatGPT, ask them how they do it. That's fine. It's as if somebody came by and said, it's like you were doing consulting. If you said, "Oh, I helped somebody learn how to 3D print," and they paid you $100, whatever that is, however that is treated in taxes, is how your portal's income is treated. Alan 10 more. Miss me a good deviled egg. Yeah, deviled eggs are good. Hot flashes. Do y'all make your Thanksgiving stuffing in or out of the bird? Ooh, good thing. I think that stuffing cooked inside the bird is better tasting, personally. I understand why people don't do it, because the juices get in there, people don't cook it, and people are always in a hurry, and they don't let the turkey cook the right amount of time. So that's dangerous. But if you have somebody who knows how to cook a turkey with stuffing in it, that is better stuffing. That being said, I think I almost always end up with externally cooked stuffing, because everybody's just like, don't want to risk it. Because it does really suck if everybody gets food poisoning from undercooked stuffing. And I have had undercooked stuffing before, and you know it. All right, that was a pleasure. Thank you. I want to get a VM22 IDEX and FreeScan Combo Plus and start a service, but didn't know where to start. Okay, I hate to be Mr. Negative, but I would recommend not starting up a 3D print service. I think guys, everybody and their grandma who has a printer has a print service. Don't do that. It's a terrible, terrible business model. Find a product, find a category, sell an item. Don't do a print service. The print service is just miserable, and it's downhill, and it never grows, and all the rest of this kind of stuff. And I admit, I understand this is total hypocrisy coming from me because I run a print service. But like, the reason we got away with it is because we differentiated ourselves by just having more machines than anybody else on the planet. So we could actually do mass production, and that was our thing. And now we differentiate ourselves by being the only service that can actually plug into your e-commerce store. Those are really differentiators, and they were really expensive to create. They took a huge amount of sweat equity and pain and unprofitability for a period of time to sustain and grow with that. So I don't recommend it. A print service is a phenomenal irritant if you're not differentiated in some kind of way of like, I print enclosures or I print performance materials or something like that. I really don't recommend it. Etsy does the same sort of stuff for the seller. Yes, Etsy does do sales tax and everything else for the seller. They don't communicate that well enough. I remember when I first started my first Etsy store, they paid the sales taxes, and then I paid the sales taxes again for a while because I wasn't sure that Etsy was paying the sales taxes. And then I realized, oh no, Etsy's doing it. I'm just getting paid. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I don't have to pay sales tax on this anymore. I know some 3ds Max, but I want to start with CAD modeling. SolidWorks Maker is $24 for 1 year right now. The starter choice? I don't know. I don't know enough about SolidWorks Maker. I use Autodesk products and all the rest of it. 3ds Max is great, very powerful. Shaper, if you have iPad, I think is cheaper. But I don't know anything about SolidWorks Maker or what the terms are on that. So I'll leave it to the chat. Everybody vote. Do you use SolidWorks Maker for $24 a year? Are there Kamir Print Lab, have you considered doing portal showcasing? We can submit to you and you can select from a random set. Yes, we are working on this. We're working on the Instagram where we will print people's portals items and create videos and stuff for them because we want to help with the marketing and promotion of it and show off the cool stuff on portals. So if you have a public portal, that is granting us permission to publicly display and share it around and get you more sales. Same way Etsy does. If you list an item on Etsy, Etsy's allowed to advertise that item. So we will add that in. It is coming, and we're pushing on that in the new year. Right now, we're just getting through the Christmas rush, making sure everything's covered. All right. What else? Dude, it's 9 p.m. to my time right now. This is my dinner right at the moment. I'm gonna go home and eat something for real. Got leftovers. Just changed my tag. Oh, did you change? You changed your tag in the chat throughout the course of this? You just trying to? You just trolling for clients? That's okay. You're allowed. I don't care. Want people to Google you, find your thing on my stream. All right, fine. That's okay. I respect it. Use SolidWorks at work and SolidWorks Maker at home. The Maker version is fine for what I do with 3D printing. Okay. There you go. If it works for you, it works for you. You know, right? Here's the thing. I don't endorse products, but this is a silicone bowl for hot air pop or microwave popcorn. It's called a kernel popper. Just go for a silicone popcorn maker. What you do, you dump in a half cup of popcorn seeds down at the bottom. A little bit, like a tablespoon of olive oil, and a quarter cut of a butter stick, which I think is like 2 tablespoons of butter. Drop that on top of there. Sprinkle salt on it. Salt is last. It's very important that salt is last, otherwise it settles to the bottom. You gotta put the oils in first. Then put the top on the kernel popper, pop that up. 4.5 minutes on high in the oven, or until pops are 2 to 3 seconds apart. And it is still good. It's real popcorn butter. It's real butter. It's very good. All right. We're going for a record. We're gonna get all kinds of concurrent viewers here today. I'm thinking of uploading videos, and that was a gamer tag I had from 10 years ago from Xbox. Gotcha. That's fair. I recommend uploading videos. Do it. Video is still so underdone, guys. It's incredible. It's like the default way, and you're going forward, video is going to be more and more important. In the AI world, where you can't tell if a video is real, having a real person film a video of themselves is going to be a huge increase to credibility for your service or anything else. So, filming yourself is very useful. And it's just a very good skill because even though this is not real, like I am not talking, you guys here are cats. You're not a real person. If there was a herd of 5 people in here, I would be getting. I'm an introvert. I don't like people. But if there's a herd of people in here, I'd be trying to figure out ways of getting out. But this is fine. But it is more than just like sitting quietly, like scrolling through a book. So it's more interaction. But yeah, video is just a really good way to help improve interaction and cadence and performance and presentation and being out there in the world. Later on, I'll go down to the bar, find the gals or whatever else it was. I'll be like, hey, do you know about 3D printing? What do you think about recycling print farm waste? Can portals listing an item be embedded in a website? I think you heard you mention it. Yes, you can. If you click on the 3 dots next to your portal, there's the option to share and the option to embed. And you can either paste over the HTML to put it in, or you can do an iframe linking to your portal. But yes, you can absolutely embed the code to a portal inside of your website, and then it has full checkout. Oh, you also have the option to just create a portals button to that item, to where if somebody clicks on it, they will start the checkout process for that item. So you can put the whole list in there, or you can just put a buy with portals button underneath it, and that'll be fine. Both of those work very well. And I'm very excited about them because they're basically like a pay that pile buy now button, and they're stupid easy to create because they're just created when you make the portal automatically. What bids are you working on? I'm working the ones that are in writing right now. We're doing one on food safe 3D printing because 3D printing is perfectly food safe. I did a rant about this last week, and we posted a chunk of it on the Slant Pod channel, and everybody said all the things we knew everybody was going to say. But we're going through and pulling together all the research papers and everything else. It's tough because you got to find them all because they're not very mainstream. But there's a food safe video. There's several design for videos of like micro features and that kind of stuff and different ways of doing things. Oddly enough, mounting tabs kind of needs a video done about it. So we're working on that. And then these live streams are going to change a little bit. Like right here, I'm just talking. we want another excuse and also a way to like improve the camera quality. And it is easier to stream a screen than it is to stream 4K video because this is not 4K. Could down sampling it so bad. But we'll do live streams that are like live CAD sessions where I'll just like design 20 bases or something like that. And then those design videos are going to be a lot of fun because once we're done with them, we're going to turn the files away for free. We're going to start designing items that we think people should start selling and just give those files away. And I don't care if people steal them or sell them or don't do whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We're turning them loose on the internet. So people have files to get started with. Oh, for the people on the stream, I'll give you guys the tease here, but Portals is going to have files included in it here starting early next week. It's called Catalog. It'll start off with a few very basic files in order to get you kind of started and give you some free files to start selling. And then we'll start expanding it if people react to it well. And we're working on how to get thousands of STLs and models into Portals that are part of like the subscription so that you get your models when you're in Portals. It protects the designers better. It gives all you guys more selection and just makes it a really seamless experience. Portals in general, or teleport in general, teleport and portals in general, we're going to make a lot more valuable here over this next year. So again, just between you and us, the portal, the teleport, obviously more files will start showing up there, but we also think we have a way to start reducing shipping because we've been interacting with all these Etsy sellers who are selling thousands and thousands of parts. And I look at all their stores and very few of them offer free shipping because free shipping is just kind of expensive. It's $5 minimum to ship something inside the United States. And we thought, you know, wouldn't it be like really useful to these guys who are selling 1,000 orders per month if shipping was $3 through teleport? And we're like, that's pretty valuable. To suddenly save you like $2,000 a month in shipping cost, and you also don't have to print, you don't have to deal with any of the rest of this. That's a major unlock. And we think we've got a way of getting it done to where it's useful to people. And just doing like flat rate shipping if you're a teleport user and subscriber. So we're going to do a test of this, and we're figuring out the math of it all to figure out how to make it work. But we think we can make that work. So literally, for teleport, the premium subscription is $19. I think you're going to get really low cost shipping there eventually, and you're definitely going to start getting a whole bunch of 3D models. So that. Let's see here. Mad Cow. There are free options and other things, but I hate auto text. That's all it works for me. That's fair. AWW1914. What are some good, bad ideas to add to this 6x4-inch printout? I was thinking a QR code to reorder and a second for product feedback via Google Forms. Oh, both of those are good. Both of those are good ideas. The things I've seen, many people have used them for instructions for the part of like this is how you put together things. So they have like little steps there. People have done some thank you cards that, quite frankly, just aren't very good. A few people have done branding with it, but you're restricted to black and white. So it's a little bit tough to do that. People haven't gotten real creative with that yet. We're gonna try to go through and do kind of a graphic design assistance on how to do that one and design. Actually, yeah, if anybody has any ideas for custom, for people who don't know, in Teleport and Portals, you have the option to create custom insert cards that go in the box with the order that are printed out when we print them out. They're black and white 4x6 sheets. We have a template on the website for you to build it on, but it's black and white. Designing for it can be tough. If there's any ideas like templates that you want for that, let us know, and we'll get them out there. Oh, actually, we're going to be building a whole bunch of nifty tools and that kind of stuff. We should probably just build a 4x6 doc editor. It generates QR codes automatically inside of there for you. Oh, we should probably do that. We should probably do that. Okay, fine. We'll get that done. But yeah, those 4x6 insert cards are really useful. I think a QR code to reorder is. I think a QR code for feedback is probably the best because people will do feedback right there. I don't know if people will pin the card up on the wall to do reorder. But if you do a QR code, here's the thing that I recommend. Make sure that you do a QR code with like a tiny URL attached to it or bit.ly or something. That way you can track how many people actually scanned it, and then you know how useful it is. I think that's a fantastic way of getting more information from the shipments that they're going by to help improve the business, because it's really important to know, do people care about this at all? Are people scanning the code? No, 1 out of 100 scanning the code. Well, 1 out of 100 is 1% conversion rate. That's about the same as a Facebook ad or a bad email. It's not the worst. If anybody wants to use Shaper 3D and can't afford the year subscription, try Affirm. Then you can pay about $75 for 1 month and have it for a year without paying $300 up front. Oh, interesting. There you go. Yeah, I haven't heard of Affirm, but yeah, fine. Try that. That's the thing. It's really bad TV when I go silent like this. YouTube's like, no, you're not doing anything. Oh, yeah. Like, hard. How long have we been? Oh my gosh, we've been going for 45 minutes already. You know, one of our production guys was like, Gabe, you got to do a stream for 4 hours. I was just like, I am not a streamer. I'm a YouTuber. YouTubers do videos for 5 minutes. That's how we roll around here. 4 hours? I'm still pretty young and spry, but 4 hours? Who has time for that? That's not my full-time job. I'm doing this in my spare time, taking my dinner break. 4 hours? You just got to be crazy. Oh yeah, the trip code, tracking code. Yeah, do the tracking code. What else decided teleport and tangle or teleport? Oh, tangle. Oh, this is a big thing on Tangle. This weekend, we will be releasing pre-orders for bamboo compatible black and gray. So there will be gray filament coming to Tangle. The reason it's a pre-order is because we've been delayed by a spooler again. Both of our spoolers. We have 2 separate ones now. Do you want to hear a hilarious story? 2 weeks ago, I emailed our spool provider, spool supplier, and said, hey, we need 5 pallets of spools. And they were like, great, Gabe. I emailed our Virginia complex because they're going to do this from now on. The mold was shipped down there. I was just like, okay. And then I wait 2 days, and I don't hear from the Virginia buyer or seller. And then I email the original person to say, hey, here's this. And she's like, no, you got it. He'll email you here soon. Still have gotten no message. And then I got an automated message that says, hey, Gabe, hey, all, we are away from the office from November 20th to December 3rd for Thanksgiving. And I was just like, oh, my Lord. No wonder U.S. manufacturing is such garbage, because people take 2 weeks of vacation for Thanksgiving. Let me set the expectation here, guys. My team was here on Wednesday, and they were here today. Everybody in the building helping out because we're busy and this is our job. And Thanksgiving comes in the middle of the week. If the U.S. was doing it right, they'd move Thanksgiving to Friday. But like we work hard and a lot and get a lot of stuff done, and it shows because we ship like a son of a gun. But like it's so disgusting and irritating when you interact with these organizations that are so settled in, and they're like, nobody's going to make a mold. I'm like, everybody can make the mold. The mold for the spool we're buying costs $20,000, maybe $50,000 on a bad day. And I so desperately just want to build a mold machine to make a freaking 3D printer spool correctly. But the issue is, maybe we should do that. I was going to say there's not enough demand inside the United States for 3D printer spools, but there might be. There actually probably kind of is. Especially if we made the spool cheaper, because everybody in the States would buy us cheaper spool. Oh, interesting. Do you think we could crowdfund a spool injection molding machine? Do you think that'd be possible? That'd be really handy if we could start making 3D printer spools correctly. It would be a giant mess because those spools would break and the machine would be wrong, and I'd buy a used one and all the rest of this stuff, and it'd break down. But good heavens, to just have that around would be super useful. There's not enough spool demand for the number of spools that we could make, but my goodness, we should do that. Oh, we don't have time to make spools. We got to sell more stuff through teleport. All right. What else, guys? You're in for the crowdfunding spool? That'd be cool. What do you think a 3D printer filament spool needs? What are like features that would make a 3D printed spool so much better than some other 3D printed spool? Obviously, you got to have tie-offs on the outside. That's fine. I feel like rather than tie-offs on the outside, you need an outer clip. I feel like Sunlu or somebody did that on the thing, but like just a groove on the outside that the filament snaps into rather than going through holes and that kind of stuff. Everybody's made those add-ons. The center bore hole, being the correct size and easy. It'd be good if that was. I wonder if you could put like almost a bearing into it to where the spool rotates itself. You wouldn't want to do that. You have to make it reusable. Make it compatible with the the bamboo spool, so it's 2 halves, but still manufacturable as flat. You got to do it in 2 halves anyway. You can maybe make an uber minimal. We could bring back our spool design, the cardboard with the 3D printing core. That might be a thing to do. Oh, oh, no, no, that's not the thing to do. It's too expensive. Um, I'm sure there is a Chinese manufacturer willing to sell you one by Monday. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's tons of Chinese manufacturers shipping spools. But here's the thing with spools from China. Spools are so bulky that it actually becomes kind of significant to ship them around. And of course, you have the tariffs and everything else right now. That even though they're more cheaply made in China, they're the per container load cost is not insignificant, and you're using a lot of these spools. So, like literally, we use a couple of container loads of spools per year. So that's costs about $10,000 to ship from China currently, I think, which is not a lot, but it's not nothing. And an injection molding machine costs somewhere in the realm of 20 to 50 grand, depending on how big you're getting. For spools, you need a pretty big injection molding machine. But that maths to where you pay off the machine in like 2 years. And we're a small manufacturer. If we were making them for everybody else, you're using a lot of spools, thousands of spools. So internalizing it is really useful. I have been trying to get all the different 3D filament makers together into like kind of a consortium because we all need to buy PLA and we all need spools. All these raw materials are the same, but our outputs are all different. I'm like, why don't we just all pool our resources and buy this stuff directly? Last year we did a little bit of it. We bought 50 pallets of PLA in the spring of this year. 40 pallets, something like that. And we bought some of those in conjunction with other guys, but a lot of them just didn't have enough. So they're like, I'll buy 1 pallet, I'll buy 2 pallets. I was just like, gee whiz, we got to get all 12 of us into a room. And we all just say, hey, the filament consortium is buying this filament, and then we distribute to ourselves. Something like that. Have you ever tried using PCBWay for production parts or molds? Yeah, I've used PCBWay for some machine parts before. Not for molds, because mold engineering is different, and you don't want to have that just kind of thrown out there, because PCBWay is sometimes amazing, sometimes terrible. So speccing that is really tough. You want to work with a mold company. Instead of using the API, would it be possible to add configurable models right in portals, i.e. a box system where you could set any length with height? We could, but the value of portals is either the SEO of the title or the sharing in the community. So like Instagrammers and YouTubers use portals for merchandise right now. The configurability isn't that useful, and it's not that hard to build a a configurator. Literally, you can go to Lovable and insert the link to the Slant3D API and say, oh, and actually, we have model generation inside of the API, so you can generate a 3D model from SCAD code. So you can make a configurator that edits OpenSCAD code and then submits it to the API and returns the 3D model that was created from that. In all fairness, I think we may have one of those coming out. So it's out there already. It's useful. It's possible. It's capable. It's available. The API is not difficult to work with, to where you can just vibe code up something pretty darn easily. Whereas integrating it into portals, yeah, as we build these apps, that we might start adding buttons or like add this to portals, but like just the dancing of that is more effort than it's kind of worth. I like the length and remaining indicator text on the sides. Good call. Those are really heavy. It depends on how a person is doing it. But yes, I agree. The amount left over is useful. Or just like the groove that shows how much is left over. I like that almost more. All right, folks. About 5 more minutes or so. If anybody got any questions or anything else you want to talk about, get them out. Oh, rah, metal 3D printing service. It needs to be done. There's a bunch of people starting to do it, but if you can get it done, it's very valuable. I would say one of the most common questions that I kind of run into as a print service is, do you print in metal? That's not the same as people buying or wanting to buy metal. It's just curious, do you print in metal? It's kind of the trendy thing here. But yeah, the machines do cost a ton. But it's really useful because there's a lot of really useful metal parts right now. I'll tell you, if I was starting up a print service around metals, learn how to make heat sinks. Only do copper. Learn how to make heat sinks and scale them up, because every one of these AI data centers needs heat sinks. They're more efficient than anything that's ever existed before. And they just cannot get to scale because none of the print services are set up to get to scale. So figure out how to do that. That is such a huge win. Facebook will buy 1 million of them from you at $100 a pop, because when you have a $50,000 GPU, you want it cooled down correctly, and $100 costs nothing. So charge $1,000 a pop. I don't care. Figure out how to make heat exchangers. And 3D printing lets you create one that's impossible and can't be made any other way. And Facebook has been researching this for years. I talked to the gentleman who was handling supply, or maybe he was the VP of data center design or something like that. I can't remember. But at a 3D printing show 6 or 7 years ago, and he was giving a presentation about what Facebook was doing around heat sinks. He was like, we just need scale. Somebody who can knock out a ton of these. I was like, well, we're not your guys. We don't do metal conductive parts. So, any advice for printing lots of Gripfinity or similar item sheets trays via Slant, orientation stacking? Upload each one of them, go. Gripfinity is about creating value. Organizers are really tough to make profitable because everybody expects them to be really cheap. I don't recommend stacking. Stacking is really, really unstable. Unless you want to go through 5 or 10 tries through teleport and everything else, trying to get them to stack, because we don't know what the correct way of stacking stuff is. In all fairness, we should probably chase that down for people. But stacking, if one part goes bad, the whole batch goes bad. And stacking is just a point of instability in the parts. So I don't recommend it. What is your position on prop weapon and portals, swords and other style weapons? Go crazy. Even pew prop weapons. Go crazy. You're allowed. That's fine. Yeah, there ain't no laws that I'm aware of around swords and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's totally fine. Cosplay. I would like to see more cosplay. Gauntlets, gloves. Not really helmets. We don't do a large enough part for helmets, and helmets actually don't really sell that well. The problem with like cosplay stuff, especially helmets, is because it is very directly IP infringement. If you do a Mandalorian helmet, you are infringing on Disney's IP. So you are not allowed to sell helmets. The only people who do have private Shopify stores that have not been caught yet, and they get to make helmets. But that's where that lands. Alrighty, everybody, I'm going to wrap it up. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a great weekend, and just appreciate how amazing it is in the world right now, because it's really cool that we got to do this, that we're eating popcorn and eating turkey and everything else we get to do with family. It's really cool to appreciate how fantastically awesome the world is right now, and whatever other noise is out there, it really doesn't matter. The world is really fantastically awesome right now in every conceivable way. So have a happy Black Friday, have a happy Turkey Day, and have a happy week. See you later, everybody.